Well, good afternoon. It's as if we're in church or class since it was so hard to fill the front rows. But make no mistake, I've noted who sat in the back rows. I will be calling on you. But as is always the case, it's a pleasure to be with you. And it's wonderful to see, frankly, so many of you, and I'm grateful for your presence today. Today is my 216th day serving as the 14th president of Albertus Magnus College. It is my 216th day serving as your president, and it's hard for me to believe that I've been on the job now for 7 months. What isn't hard for me to say, however, is that on each and every one of these 216 days over these 7 months, my passion and my love for Albertus Magnus College and our community has continued to grow. I said it to you when I was introduced last March, and I've said it each time when given an opportunity. I am honored and I am privileged to serve. When I was introduced to you, I described myself as an engaged listener, and I assured you that my first year would prioritize opportunities for me to listen, meet, and engage with members of our community, our faculty and our staff, our students, our parents, our alumni, our friends, and our supporters. And I've enjoyed doing just that. And at every interaction and conversation, I hear passion and I experience love for Albertus Magnus College. I hear pride in the past, and I hear hopes for the future. I hear and I experience in an unmistakable way a love for and a commitment to our Catholic mission and our Dominican identity. That mission empowers a transformative educational experience for younger and older students. Mission is not a buzzword on this campus. It's real, it's palpable, and for me, it's inspiring. Today, I will offer some reflections and observations with regard to the present and with an eye toward the future of Albertus Magnus College. I'm often asked how I'm enjoying the job. That answer comes easily. I love this job. Admittedly, there are times where the magnitude of what I'm trying to take in is overwhelming. There's simply so much for me to learn about this college and our community. When I settle into my bed at night, rarely am I not feeling exhausted and ready to rest. And there have been some unexpected twists and turns, case in point. Last week's Long Wharf Theater situation and our honorary degree deliberations. But as was the case last week, the values that flow from our mission offer me, on a daily basis, the compass and the nourishment to thrive. I love this job. So, the state of the college. I'll be direct as I begin. The state of Albertus Magnus College is sound. Based on all I've learned and observed, and with an eye toward the future, I am unwavering in my belief that the future of Albertus Magnus College is bright, and as you've heard me say before, and I dare say again, bold. I'm not suggesting our future dreams and aspirations will come easily or without effort and even sacrifice. And in fact, as you'll hear me emphasize, we may need to work more diligently, strategically, smartly, innovatively, collaboratively, and effectively than in the past. But rest assured, our shared work and our commitment will enable the bright, bold future that stands before us. More to come on that. So let me share some observations and reflections on the current year. The 17-18 academic year has moved into its spring semester. And while I've been intentional in listening before acting, as a community, we haven't been idle. We've begun the necessary and exciting process of moving forward. We, you, have much for which to be proud as we stand here just beyond the halfway point in this year. I'll offer a sampling of our institutional accomplishments since this summer, and let me admit up front, it's an incomplete list. But with that acknowledgement, consider. We identified and we opened new space for our East Hartford campus, and we've expanded our PGS accelerated degree programs. We implemented a new Master in Science and Clinical Counseling program, and it opened with enrollments above projections. We initiated the STEM Scholars Program, supported by the National Science Foundation $600,000 plus grant, and our inaugural first 5 scholars enrolled this fall. We launched a new, more intuitive, user and mobile-friendly platform for the My Albertus portal. We've begun and nearly finished a major campus network and wireless improvement project, which will enhance our network and Wi-Fi with a more powerful, reliable solution. Now I have to tell you, the details of this project exceed my technology vocabulary, but I am told we're going from 150 to 500 megabytes per second. I have to assume that's good. We've also completed the Voyager to Alma transition as the college's library management system, and it's improved access to all information resources available to our students and faculty online, but also in person. We established a mental health counseling center with dedicated professionals to staff it to triage the immediate and short-term mental health needs of our students enrolled in our day and PGS programs. We launched a campus recreation and fitness program centered around student engagement and wellness. For at least the first time in many years, we have intramural athletics on this campus. I'm told we offer Zumba. We have yoga, meditation sessions, and I know some of you participated and maybe observed that more than a few of our faculty and staff competed this fall in our first intramural sporting events. Perhaps we didn't win those contests, but you competed. And this year has also seen us complete a number of campus facilities enhancements. In the summer, we refreshed Dominican Hall. Dominican is, if you don't know, it's the residence hall where our first-year students reside. It was painted and freshened up. We opened up the Shea softball complex, so our Falcons athletics, the women's softball team, will compete right in the heart, in the core of the campus. We opened up the new coffee bar in Bree Common. And I have to tell you, I was told by more than a few people that that was not a wise decision, that it wouldn't work, that our students and our staff wouldn't have the money or wouldn't spend the money. Based on my own observations and what I've observed, I think we're drinking more than a few cups of coffee on this campus each day, and our students have actually labeled it their student center. Speak to that in a moment. We've become more collaborative, strategic, and intentional in our marketing and communications efforts. The albertus.edu website has been freshened and enhanced to prioritize our external audiences and objectives. Our social media presence has improved. I even now tweet. And what you may not realize is before this job, I'm not sure there was anyone who was more personally opposed to using social media and tweeting than me. But I do it because I'm told I have to. We've embarked upon deliberate engagement with our surrounding communities and neighbors. New Hallville, Edge Hill, Ronan, East Rock, Hamden, the city of New Haven. We've attended community meetings and events, and the presence of Albertus has been noticed and it's been favorably received. I am convinced that the future of Albertus Magnus College is inherently intertwined with our neighboring communities. In our fundraising, donor, and alumni engagement efforts, we've begun the process of moving forward. The former Fall Fest was reimagined and rebranded into a more traditional homecoming with a goal of attracting back to this campus more of our alumni from across the decades. We've hosted alumni events in other parts of the country, New York City, Boston, Ohio, Florida, tomorrow night, Washington, D.C. We created a new VIP entertainment area for our home basketball games so that we can introduce current and future donors to the college, friends of the college, to the excitement that is Albertus Falcons intercollegiate athletics. And year to date in our annual fundraising, I am pleased to share with you that we have more donors than previous years, and we are running 75% ahead in total dollars raised versus the same point in time a year ago. We've already exceeded what was budgeted for the total annual fund dollars raised this year. That's right. Our success in future fundraising will be a key driver of a thriving Albertus Magnus College. And as we think about a thriving Albertus for the future, another driver will be success in our enrollment management efforts. Albertus, like nearly all private and increasingly many public institutions, is student revenue dependent. There is no greater priority for us as an institution than growing our full-time traditional age population. Our bright future begins with growth in enrollments and revenues. And we've begun the necessary strategic investments. We hired Sean Michael Green to be the college's inaugural Vice President for Enrollment Management. We hired Ben Amarone to serve as the new Director of Admission. We've partnered with one of the leading direct marketing and financial aid strategy firms in the country. We're revamping our admission recruitment and marketing strategies and tactics. We're revamping our on-campus visit programs, and we're off to a great start considering the outstanding fall open house program we hosted. And we have another quickly approaching February 25th. We're also in the midst of implementing Slate, which is undeniably the best customer relationship marketing software solution in higher education. And we are implementing it for our traditional age and our PGS admission offices. These investments that we're making will be monitored closely to assess the returns on those investments. And to date, the early results are promising. For this fall's incoming first-year class, we are running 38% ahead in applications, and 27% more students have been admitted to date. But applications and acceptances have to translate into enrollments. and we're heading into the yield season. A message that you will hear me emphasize throughout my presidency is that enrollment management is everyone's responsibility. Yes, our colleagues in the enrollment management areas carry the responsibility of leading those efforts. As you know, or maybe you didn't know, I think you do, my background is in enrollment management. And I used to think I was a pretty good admission counselor. But let's be clear, students and their parents do not choose colleges based on admission counselors. Sure, admission counselors have to be effective relationship builders. But ultimately, students choose to come here because of the faculty and the staff they meet when they visit. The faculty they'll have in their classes, the academic and student affairs staff who will work with them during their years here. Every interaction that you have with a prospective student, whether they write or call, or particularly when they visit, is an opportunity. If we all work together this spring on our yield efforts, we will enroll a large and vibrant class in the fall. I'm positive. And while meeting incoming class goals is a must, our ultimate goals and measures do not revolve around new student numbers. They revolve around student persistence, success, and degree completions. We have so much for which to be proud when it comes to the success stories of Albertus Magnus College graduates. An Albertus Magnus College degree has always been and continues to be empowering and transforming. We enroll in our undergraduate and graduate programs students from Greater New Haven and the state of Connecticut, and they are diverse by all definitions. In many ways, Albertus is the envy of colleges who are striving to serve more diverse populations. However, we can and we need to do better. We are a student-centered college. The success of every student who enrolls here should be the expectation. The exception needs to be those who do not succeed. Let me be clear. The responsibility for success begins with the students. They need to own their success. But each and every one of us here, we are here for the students. And our commitment must be to their success. Persistence and degree completions will define our institutional success. Our path to a vibrant, thriving future for Albertus Magnus College is through growth in enrollments, and revenues, and fundraising. So I mentioned that we're in the spring, heading into the spring yield season. There, of course, will be a few other things occurring in the spring, including my official inauguration activities. And I've said this many times, but I will say it to you again today. My presidential inauguration is not about me. The inauguration is about Albertus Magnus College and a new beginning. I will always stand on the shoulders of Dr. Julia McNamara. Her 34-year legacy of presidential leadership is profound. But as a community, this spring, and with the traditional pomp and circumstance of a presidential inauguration on May 4th, we begin a new shared journey toward a bright future. The Presidential Transition Committee under the leadership of Associate Professor Sarah Wallman and Vice President for Student Services Andrew Foster, along with the Inauguration Committee co-chairs, Sister Ann Kilbride, who, as you know, serves as Special Assistant for Mission, Carolyn Bean Krause, our Vice President for Development, and Andrea Kovacs, our Vice President for Marketing and Communications. Collectively, they, the teams, have led efforts to develop a series of inauguration events that offer the promise of excitement and engagement for our community and the greater New Haven community at large. I believe you know the inauguration website is live, and I know that some calls have already gone out and more are coming for volunteers. I realize that the inauguration events add to the workload and our commitment beyond what is already asked in a normal spring. But with the inauguration events comes an opportunity that this college hasn't seen in more than 3 decades for greater exposure, awareness, and for Albertus to tell its story to a wider audience within the New Haven and higher education communities at large. Yes, I am excited and honored to be officially installed. But what I'm really looking forward to is sharing the Albertus Magnus College story to a wider audience. One inauguration event in particular I want to call to your attention. We will conclude the inauguration week events on Saturday, May 5th with a day of service. And I will own this, I have set a goal of having at least 1,925 people contribute service hours to what we do that day. Is that ambitious? Yes. But I'm convinced that we can make it happen. Each of us, sure, in our immediate community, we each can play a role. But the power of our network and our community building efforts, our alumni, will propel us past that 1,925 goal. I'm sure of it. More will come on that opportunity. So in addition to the inauguration events, this spring offers additional new initiatives. We'll, of course, conduct our annual commencement exercises. It'll be my first as president. Frankly, I consider myself blessed to have attended and observed last spring's ceremonies. I was moved, I have to tell you, I was moved by the visible expressions of accomplishment on the part of our students and their families. Commencement represents the culmination of our students' dreams of graduation and, frankly, the fruits of your labors and efforts. Soon, we'll announce this year's honorary degree recipients, who I know represent the best of our values and our aspirations. And also this spring, I'm bringing back to the ceremony, for the first time in a decade, a commencement speaker. We'll soon share those details as well. I mentioned that growing our enrollments will be a top priority. To help us identify and open up new international markets, I am frankly thrilled to share with you that later this spring, Sister Anna Gonzalez, who formerly worked for Albertus in our PGS area, will be joining our community full-time to develop an international recruitment program. Initially, Sister Anna's efforts will focus on the Dominican secondary schools in South America, working a network of established contacts that the Dominican sisters have forged over the years. Many of you know Sister Anna better than do I. But I will tell you, the brief interactions I've had with her have led me to conclude she will be a wonderful addition to our community, and she's the right person to help us launch a formal international recruitment effort. Also this spring and summer, we will continue making necessary improvements and investments in our campus facilities. A first project that will begin this spring and should conclude over the summer months is the installation of solar panels on some of our building roofs and also as covered parking structures, which would be nice this time of year. The scope and the details of the project are still being finalized, but solar energy, of course, aligns with our mission, our values, and it offers potential energy savings and marketing opportunities. I'm really excited to share news of this next project. A theme I've heard consistently from our students, our staff, and our faculty is the need for a more vibrant campus life, including spaces for gathering and interacting. To address these needs and in support of growing our traditional age student population, including those who live on this campus, pending final board approval in March, this summer we will be renovating this building, the Campus Center. Plans are still being developed, but the renovations will occur over the summer and they will be completed for the start of the fall semester. And included in the Campus Center renovations will be the renovation of the servery area of the dining hall. We're in final review stages of competitive bids from dining services providers, but with the opening of the 2018 fall semester, we will have a more modern, inviting servery area and new meal plan options to better meet the needs of our students and our employees. Each of these three critical campus improvement projects builds on the momentum of those we've already completed this year. And as details become more developed, communications and invitations for involvement and input will be forthcoming. I'm compelled to share with you that I am fully aware of the need for new and renovated academic and other administrative facilities. Our initial investments will support enrollment growth, and our enrollment and fundraising success will enable us to move forward with addressing additional academic and administrative facility needs. They will be priorities. In addition to facilities improvements, we also continue to analyze opportunities for immediate positive return on investment. In the coming year, we will fund and fill 4 new full-time faculty positions to support newly developed academic programs and our growing graduate student population. New programs in public administration at the graduate level and in urban studies at the undergraduate level are in final development. We will also be adding at least 1 and possibly 2 new positions to our advancement and development area to help us move forward more quickly and effectively in our fundraising success. And I'd be remiss if I don't mention one more inauguration event, the Black Tie Scholarship Gala that will be held the night of the installation ceremony. Every dollar we raise that evening will go directly to helping make an Albertus Magnus College education accessible to those who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford it. I'm convinced that that event, in many ways, will propel the college's fundraising agenda forward in a public and impactful way. New too, this fall, in our Falcons Intercollegiate Athletics program, we will start a women's varsity field hockey program. And we are close to confirming a relaunch of varsity swimming for fall 2019. Under Jim Abramitis' leadership, we're also exploring new sport offerings, each of which will be assessed and measured against market demand and the potential for positive net revenue contributions. So let me shift some final remarks with a focus to the future. I've previously mentioned that in the fall, we'll launch a shared strategic visioning and planning process with a goal of developing a new strategic plan to present for endorsement to the Board of Trustees in 2020. That new plan will serve as our guide in the years ahead, and it will set our sights on 2025, the centennial celebration for Albertus Magnus College. I am still considering options for exactly what our planning process will look like. However, the process will be formally launched in the fall with an off-site retreat with the Board of Trustees. For its retreat, though, I want to provide the board with some preliminary work that comes from our community. This spring, I'll be asking you to contribute to a visioning and SWOT analysis exercise. My past experience in strategic planning has led me, frankly, to favor a more streamlined, simple versus complicated planning process. But one of the most important early steps toward developing a shared, successful strategic plan is to gather insights from our community regarding where we stand and our hopes for the future. So you can be on the lookout for an invitation to contribute. And again, while I don't know yet exactly how our planning process will take shape, will look, what I assure you of is it will be transparent and it will be inclusive. Every member of our community will have an opportunity to provide input and feedback in this planning process. The new strategic plan will be stronger for your input. Many years ago, in a previous strategic planning experience, I first heard some advice that I'll adapt and offer to us now. As we think about our future, in many ways, Albertus Magnus College can be anything it wants. But Albertus Magnus College cannot be everything it wants. We will need to focus. Our planning will emanate from mission, and it will have as an overarching goal the deeper engagement with and fulfillment of our Catholic Dominican mission and identity. Our planning will build on our time-proven strengths in values and liberal arts-based education, and we will seek opportunities for distinction and distinctiveness. Members of the Albertus Magnus College community, our future is bright, and I believe it will be bold. Humble and with a sense of humility, indeed. Our mission and our values call us to be so. But the importance of our mission offers us the freedom to be bold in our pride and our purpose. I believe there never has been a time since 1925 where the Catholic Dominican values and liberal arts-based education offered by Albertus Magnus College has been as needed as it is today. And looking forward, I am confident that that call and need will continue. You, our faculty, and our staff educate and send forth into the world graduates who are distinctively, if not uniquely, prepared to be engaged, contributing citizens who work, who live and lead with competence, conscience, and compassion. Our students, today and in the future, need and deserve excellence from us. In all that we do, good cannot be good enough. Excellence is our call. We must indeed be fearless falcons. as we move forward, soaring to new heights as a shared community, as a family. As we set our sights on 2025, our historic centennial milestone celebration, I'm honored, I'm privileged, and I'm excited to serve with you. When Dan Shepelavi was on our campus this fall to help us develop some key messages for this year's inauguration events, one of the most powerful messages he reported back to the vice presidents, based on his interviews with our faculty and our administrators and our students, was a statement regarding the faculty views on our students. And you shared that we love our students into soaring. My goal for you, the faculty and staff of Albertus Magnus College, is for you to feel that love that you show toward our students. For you to feel and experience a genuine sense of being valued and engaged. For you to be inspired and rewarded in your service to Albertus Magnus College and the amazing students that we serve. As I've listened this year, I've learned that the history of Albertus Magnus College is teeming with compelling stories, a past full of impact and empowerment. I ask you, as I did when I was first introduced, to open your hearts and your minds to the possibilities of a bright, bold future as we develop new stories of impact and empowerment. You have my word. I will continue to listen and hear you. I will value you, and I will do all I can to lead you and to serve you. The state of Albertus Magnus College is sound, and the future is bright. Thank you.